What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Fox Fantasy Insiders, brought to you by Gaming Generations. My name's Lucas.
And I'm Justin.
And we're your Fox Fantasy Insiders. We're your referees. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween. And welcome back to our show. If you have not been here before, this is a show where Justin and I just talk all things fantasy football. And here we are in week 9. We got a great show for you guys. We got some Halloween-themed segments.
A spooky season.
Spooky season. I just love this time of year, man. Not just for the candy. I don't trick or treat. That's not what I'm saying. Or do I? But I just love the
costumes.
The costumes, yeah. Just the weather's like not too cold yet. You know, I love scary movies.
Weather.
Yeah, I mean, besides watching NFL and the World Series and whatnot, I'm watching scary movies.
That's right.
So it's just a good time of the year. So we got a great episode for you guys. And before we get into our spooky segments here, I want to talk a little bit about a spooky start here.
Okay.
So this is a player where you feel like you should be starting, but you're kind of afraid of doing so.
Sure.
You know? Tell me a little bit about DeAndre Hopkins. So, like, he's got that big name.
Yeah, just got traded to the Chiefs.
He didn't really do too much last week, but I almost think, is it because they didn't need him?
I mean, I just think it's a new system. He's trying to learn everything. I get he has the veteran tag on him, where he can basically just go into any team and make an immediate impact. Yeah. But when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that can do what he's able to do with whatever receiver is given to him, I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact until he gets familiar with the playbook.
I've seen a lot of things on X, that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a top 15 wide receiver being on this offense. I know he's good. He's a great veteran. You don't need to teach him much.
Yeah.
But like you said, on that offense, there's so many mouths to feed, and I don't think every week is going to be an amazing fantasy week. Yeah, for this guy. So it's kind of freaky in a way here, but that's just a little spooky start. I feel like you just kind of have to roll them out there.
If that's your option, yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's spookier players out there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
Cedric Tillman is another spooky. Like, it's like, okay, he just popped off.
But he got big J-Mo back there, so I'm throwing him in there.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to Hopkins, let's say he's not fantasy relevant. Okay, that's fine. I mean, not for us fantasy players, but having another veteran in that system that's able to teach the young receivers, everything that he has gone through throughout his career, I just think that's a good piece to have on your team.
Right. No, I agree. So, I mean, are you rolling him out then?
I'm not, no.
Yeah, you're just kind of waiting for something to develop more a little bit.
I need to see something from him and Mahomes to click before I even start him. But however, let's say
he was on the Titans and he was the one and he didn't really do too much. I mean, there's a few boom weeks, but I think this is what you're going to kind of get from this seasoned veteran.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. If your other receivers are hurt, for sure, throw them out there. But if you have better options, I think I'm going with them.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got a great episode for you guys. I just wanted to highlight a little spooky start right there. We're going to be talking about ghosted players, zombie players rising, trick-or-treat players, and then we got a monster matchup, basically a matchup that we want to highlight that's got a lot of fantasy implications. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Gaming Generations.
Check out Gaming Generations, where the gaming world comes to life. Embrace the gaming lifestyle with friends, new and old, and rediscover those classic games with their wide range of retro gaming options. From consoles to headsets and controllers, they have it all. You could trade in your games for cash or store credit and always get the best deals. Do you guys need a quick fix? Well, don't go picking up a used phone off the waivers this year. If your phone goes down this season, don't worry, Gaming Generation has got you covered. From phones, tablets, laptops, consoles, controllers, and more, their walk-in repairs will make sure that you are covered. At Gaming Generations, they always make it their priority to help their customers. Gaming Generations, where your gaming dreams come to life.
Thank you, Gaming Generations, for sponsoring the show. Before we kick off the show, we want to highlight a few of their sales coming up. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have 50% off all games under $15.
Okay.
And, we'll be highlighting their sales each week until the end of the year. So stay tuned for that and all their awesome deals.
Awesome. Thank you, Gaming Generations, for sponsoring our show. Now, Justin, I didn't say at the top of the show, but I really do like your costume.
I like yours too. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
What about what's going on with that?
What's
here?
this?
Yeah.
Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs logo?
Yeah, what's that about?
Oh, you know, it's just I'm on the Chiefs team. I mean, that's how it that's how it appears, you know.
Interesting. Okay.
From time to time here. So I have the official NFL script.
Is that a NFL script?
Yeah, the NFL script right here.
How did you get that?
Not supposed to share with anyone. I know a guy.
My.
But yeah, I'm not supposed to share with anyone. But between us, let's open it up.
Oh,
what I have here is would you look at that? Chiefs three-peat. I hope that doesn't happen.
Throw that out the window. Oh my goodness.
So let's get into the show here.
All right,
so happy Halloween. Let's talk a little bit about ghosted players. So I'm going to explain a little bit of what these all are. So ghosted players, we're going to talk about one player each who has been surprisingly underperforming or ghosting fantasy teams this season. And we're going to just discuss if they're worthy of being hung on to for the season. So who's your ghosted player?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's into the grave, I feel. We could bring that up just talking about news here.
There's two paths you could take with this one. In Dynasty, you're holding on to him.
Yeah, you have to.
You want to see that development if there is going to be one. But in redrafts, you probably took him in the probably second, third, fourth round, and you were banking on starting him the whole season. And that's just not the case anymore. You can't do it. He's unreliable.
They don't know what they're going to do with him. He might not play another game this season. He might not.
I mean, he's not playing this week against us.
No.
Which tells you a lot. I mean, he went out. I mean, granted, it was one play where he went out and was like, I'm tired. And
yeah, I mean, I'm tired.
Yeah, like, really? What's going on here? I don't know. It's just...
It was a bad look for the young quarterback, but that's the face of the franchise. You can't be doing that. So we're not going to get too into that opinion.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. He's super inconsistent. I mean,
like you said,
every game it's like he's 10 for 30 for passing. It's just, but I mean, again, Tom Brady came out and said this early before the season started. With NFL has quarterback development issues. They expect throw out their rookies and expect them to be Hall of Fame rookies right off the bat.
This guy was 21 last year, and they already knew that he didn't have much starting experience.
He did not.
He didn't.
No.
So, I mean, like you said, in Dynasty, I have him in Dynasty. You're not selling him right now because this is the lowest low right now.
Yeah, like you're putting him on a trade block, probably put out some feelers like you did.
Yeah, I threw him on the block.
But I just think...
I benched him just like the Colts benched him. So
I don't know. I just think with Anthony Richardson and all the new and rookie quarterbacks, except for a few, that there needs to be some development. Like you've seen with Jordan Love. He sat 4 or 5 years behind Rodgers. He looked great. Like you have to get them acclimated to the speed of the game, and teams aren't doing that. Like they drafted their quarterback super high. We spent this draft pick on you. You're going out there, get us a win, and it's not the right move.
I feel bad for the guy, but I'm hoping that he does take this time not starting and just like learn mentally, physically, get in shape if you're tired. I don't know. Like it just is like it's a weird feeling. I know Pat McAfee's a Colts fan, and he was like harping on him hard.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can hang on to him in redraft.
No.
There's just not a point. So, I mean, he's in the grave,
as
they would say. So,
but that's my ghosted player, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, for my ghosted player, I'm going to be talking about Jags running back Travis Etienne. You drafted him in the early second round in redraft, and he really hasn't been doing too much. And though he has had that injury, we know the talent with Etienne. We know that he's involved in the passing.
For sure.
We know that he has upside and he can have these big boom weeks.
He's a good running back. It's just,
But this injury and this involvement with Tank Bigsby doing actually pretty darn good is like kind of hurting Etienne. But Etienne is supposed to come back this week, and I think he's just going to evolve into a larger pass-catching role because Brian Thomas Jr. He's hurt with ribs. Christian Kirk's out for the season, and I think Gabe Davis is questionable. So you have all these wide receiver injuries. This is a great time to roll out ETN.
Sure.
In redraft right now, you could probably buy low on him, but you're kind of buying a lottery ticket for the rest of the season.
Yep.
I would hang on to him. I would hang on to ETN.
I would too.
I think he can be a league-winning running back, and I mean this.
It's the risk to reward ratio.
Right, and I just think that he has been underperforming. He has ghosted your team, if you will say, and I think he's going to come back from the dead. See what I did there? Yeah, he's going to come back from the dead and be on fantasy championships.
Yep, I like that.
So I had ETN there. Just hang on to him. So there were some ghosted players. Let's talk a little bit about some zombie players rising. Okay, so we're going to highlight one player each who seemed dead for fantasy, early in the season, and now they're finally showing some life. They're coming back to life. They're walking zombies. So I got a couple names here, but I think I narrowed it down to my one. Who do you got?
I got a couple as well, but the one I like the most is Khalil Shakir.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not necessarily, he never was necessarily dead for fantasy. He's getting you 8 or 10 points.
Right.
Every week since week 1. He was out a week with the injury, but I just think with the addition of Amari Cooper, Shakir's fantasy relevance has risen. Mm-hmm. The past 2 games with Cooper, Shakir went 7 for 7 targets for 65 yards and then 9 for 10 targets for 107 yards. Cooper has just opened up the field tremendously for this Bills offense, and now everyone is getting a piece of the ball. You can even say the same thing with Keon Coleman, who had over 100 passing yards.
I think he could be a zombie player rising as well. Hasn't done too much, and now he's starting to evolve into a larger role.
Yeah.
But I really like the Khalil Shakir, and I feel like this is I'm rolling him out there.
For sure.
Yeah. I think it's sweet.
That's one of my players I got for zombie players rising.
Do you want a running back or a wide receiver here? Because I'm narrowing them down here.
Let's go running back.
I'm going to go wide receiver.
Let's do wide receiver.
I already did running back. I'm going to go with Josh Downs. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because we just talked about Anthony Richardson.
I like that.
Josh Downs, when Anthony Richardson was starting, was irrelevant.
Yep.
You could not put him into fantasy lineups with confidence. It was just a dart throw.
Yeah.
With Joe Flacco at the starting position for quarterback, I think Josh Downs could be a top 20 wide receiver, top 15 maybe. He's a deep threat.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get at least 9 targets a game. And this is a perfect example of a quarterback change. It also changes the whole core of the team. Wide receivers, running backs,
Yep.
And I think Josh Downs is overall, he was irrelevant beginning of the season because of the quarterback. Make that change. Now he's a zombie. Now he's walking. He's like, let's do this thing.
It's just weird because, you would think Michael Pittman would be, more involved and relevant. He hasn't done anything.
No, and he has had that injury, but, really, even without the injury, he hasn't done too much. I think he'll step up too. I feel like you can put him in that category as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Also, my other, I'm just going to bring this up.
Bring it up.
DeAndre Swift was my other one.
I like that.
I feel like he was kind of, I don't know, he had some name value, but he didn't really perform too well, and now he's got some nice matchups, and I think he's in high RB2 at this point. He takes on Arizona, New England, Green Bay, and then it kind of gets harder with Minnesota in there. But I think that is a good player in this category as well.
Another player I want to bring up is a tight end. Now, those of you who know me, I love my tight ends. I seem to do pretty well with them.
Yes.
It is Hunter Henry. And the reason is, the first six weeks without Drake May, and he had Jacoby Brissett throwing to him, dude has been irrelevant. Granted, he had 1 game, and after that game, I picked him up, started him, 2 points, 3 points. It was just bad. But ever since they started Drake May, let me throw out some stats for you. 3 for 5, 41 yards, not the best, but he had a touchdown and saved it. and then he went 8 for 9 for 92 yards, and then 5 for 6 for another 45. But then that is the game that May exited with a concussion. I just think tight ends, when it comes to their position, is a safety blanket for the quarterback.
Yeah.
And rookies especially, like, you know, they like their short 5-yard in passes, 10-yard in passes, and it's just a good blanket for Drake May. And I think Hunter Henry with May in there is going to rise.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think so, too. I mean, that could arguably be the wide receiver one in that team. Heavily targeted, safety blanket. I like the pick a lot.
Right.
I like the pick a lot. All right, so next we're going to talk a little bit about trick-or-treat players, focusing on players who are inconsistent. I mean, boom-bust type players. Are you getting the trick? Or are you getting the treat every time you roll this player out? And I'm just going to throw mine right out here.
Let's do it.
It's Jalen Waddle. This is a guy, pretty exciting name.
Now here's a guy
that's got an exciting name on the Dolphins.
Super fast.
Has that potential to have these insane boom weeks. But not this year. No, he doesn't. And a lot of that is because of Tua's injury.
Yep.
But even when Tua's in the game, we've seen him not perform well all the time. He's very boom bust. Yep. But you put him in there because he has that boom potential. You know, he's got that trait potential.
Yeah, all you have to do is take one target to that.
Right.
You know?
Rolling him out there, you could be getting those like nasty jawbreaker things. That's the little trick, little razor blade. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
extra candy.
Or you're getting like a king size Kit Kat bar. You want that Kit Kat bar, but you just roll it out there because you just hope to get it. He's not been the same this season. But you have to start him, especially with Tua in there.
Yeah, and you probably drafted him pretty high.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And in that same category here, I have another name down is Marvin Harrison because he's got that exciting name. And we've seen him have some really exciting weeks.
For sure.
But you've also seen a goose. You've also seen 3 points. I mean, you just don't know. But these are fun players that you can throw in your flex. In DraftKings, you can kind of like you have the potential.
The ceiling's super high.
Exactly. Yeah, high ceiling. And that's what you kind of look for.
Yep.
I mean, especially if you're picking off the waiver wires, you're like, that guy could maybe score me a lot of points. So I want him on my team. Who do you got for your trick or treat player?
I've been harping on this guy all season.
Oh yeah?
And he is my guy.
Yeah.
Tank Dell. I mean, I just don't know where to go with him anymore. I mean, he's been riding my bench for pretty much the whole season.
So much opportunity with this guy.
He's a trick. Tank Dell, I'm putting him as a trick category. He has been one of the most inconsistent receivers this year. Now, again, this isn't his fault. Like, he has to go behind Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. In his first game without Collins, he had 9 targets, 1 touchdown, and 18.5 fantasy points. Pretty good.
That's nice. I like to see that.
Very nice. So now we're feeling good about starting him without Collins, with him out of the picture.
Yeah.
Well, you're wrong.
Bit more opportunities, right?
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Because the next game, without Collins, he had 4 targets. How many did he catch?
That's a 0?
0.
Was that Packer game?
It was 0.
Yeah.
And he ended with the goose egg. So now you're salty.
It was.
And then last week, he only had another 4 targets. He caught all of them with a touchdown. And that touchdown saved it. Without that touchdown, he'd be at 7.5 points.
Yeah.
That's just not what you want to see when someone has an opportunity when the wide receiver 1 is out. And now Diggs is out.
Okay, I'm in a real dilemma here. In our work league, I have Tank Dell. I need this win. It's a hard defense. Sauce Gardner is going to be on Tank Dell likely. But Tank Dell is going to get 7 targets tonight,
You would think.
9 targets tonight. Do I roll him out there?
I mean, it's almost dumb not to because Collins is out, Diggs is out. I mean,
if he pops off of my bench, I'll be happy, but I'll be like, yep, there was the...
Your 1 and 2 is out.
Yeah.
Like, you would expect Dell to get 80% of the targets.
You think?
You would think, but I just don't know. I don't...
Okay, so here's a start and sit 'em. Tank Dell or Keon Coleman?
Tank Dell.
Okay. Tank
Just
Dell...
because of the opportunity.
Yeah. Tank Dell or Xavier Legette with Bryce Young at the quarterback?
Tank Dell.
I'm starting Tank Dell tonight, everyone.
Let's go.
And let's see if I get the trick or treat. It's kind of perfect because it is Halloween, and this is your my guy. You're starting him.
I'm gonna start him too, just because of that. I'll start him.
Oh gosh, I hope this turns out good.
And then, okay, I want to touch on one more.
Let's hear it.
Receiver. He's a rookie. I love this guy, and it's Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
And I think this is a treat player. I mean,
yeah, he's a treat.
He has Daniel Jones throwing to him.
King size Kit Kat bar right there.
You know, I mean, Neighbors has been inconsistent when it comes to fantasy points, but you're not mad about it because majority of the time he's pushing over 10. However, you have to look at the target. Now, I took his average of all the games he's played, and he's averaging, you want to guess how many targets a game?
Probably like 10.
12.
Oh my gosh.
The man is averaging 12 targets a game. And you just have to look at the opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to fantasy playing, targets are everything, you know?
It's a nice, I mean, and I think he's got the upside of like a Jefferson, Chase, St. Brown, you know, like he can just have, like if you got him in Dynasty, you got a treat. And yes, you got a nice treat.
Yeah, like I think I'm more happy, like, okay, let's say I have Malik Neighbors, you know, that has 12 targets a game, only caught 5 of them, you know. I'm more happy about that than someone on my bench that has 4 targets and caught 2 of them with a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more happy about the target share than the actual, just the small amount of numbers, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. All right, and to close out our show, we're going to talk about monster matchups. So we each got a matchup of a game this week that has a lot of fantasy implications, you know, like a lot of fantasy, you know, fantasy gold mine here. And my monster matchup is Cowboys and the Falcons. Both teams have a lot of players in fantasy, and I think that the Cowboys, I know they're losing, and they look kind of awful.
Yeah, they do.
But we saw garbage time CeeDee Lamb kind of like come into form and win me my week. I was down 34 points, and CeeDee Lamb gave me 39, and I won my week. And that was delicious. That was yum, yum, yum. I liked that a lot.
That's a king-size bar right there.
That's a king-size Kit Kat bar, if I do say so myself. But I think that, Drake London on the other side, the Falcons, Bijan Robinson, I think this can be
Darnell Mooney,
a high-scoring game from both sides of the ball. And I think, the passing game is fun. The Cowboys' running game is kind of iffy, but,
they don't have one.
But Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier on the other side, like, they're startable assets. So I like this game, talking about monster matchups. So what do you got?
I want to talk about 2. I'm only going to touch on one quickly. It's a Saints-Panthers, and this is more leaning on the Saints side of things.
Yeah, Olave's back, right?
Yeah, Chris Olave is fully healthy. He's good to go. And Derek Carr should be back under center. So I expect Chris Olave to have a big game on this. You know, Rashid Shaheed's out for the season. I forget who the other receiver is, but I just think the Panthers, we all know how the Panthers are. I expect Olave and Kamara to have a big game. So that's one of them fantasy points. The other one is Commanders and Giants.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably thinking, what the hell? This ain't anything here.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels is back, looking good.
Tossing Hail Marys.
That was
so cool, dude.
Like a beast.
So cool.
I would say the 3 players I'm looking at here is Terry McLaurin.
My guy. That's your guy.
My guy. Malik Neighbors. And Tyrone Tracy Jr.
Yeah, running back.
I just think that this is going to be a pretty good game. The defenses are kind of similar with giving up air yards. So that's just the game I wanted to touch on.
Yeah. Should be some great matchups, and hopefully we see some fantasy gold mine.
Yes.
We like high-scoring games.
We do.
Give us those high-scoring games. Yeah, just slugfest, defensive battles. Yeah. Whoever plays the Steelers, it's like, oh, this is going to be a 13-point game, huh?
Yeah.
Like the winning team, it's just always a little rough because the Steelers are that's how they play. But they win. But awesome. Well, there is our Halloween episode of Fox Fantasy Insiders, brought to you by Gaming Generations. We hope you guys get some Week 9 fantasy dubs. We hope you guys get some king-size Kit Kat bars. Yeah. And we hope you win a lot of money in daily fantasy. We'll see you next week for another great episode. Happy Halloween.